2023 was a big year for Supercars. With Gen 3 coming in and Chevrolet's introduction to the Supercars Championship, things had to be big and they had to be exciting. And to me, Supercars in 2023 was very exciting. Now, I'm not going to lie to your face and tell you that there weren't any problems with Gen 3. That would be ridiculous. Obviously, we had the big P word, parity. It was an issue throughout the whole year, and up until Gold Coast, with 2 rounds to go, there was no sign of it being properly fixed, and we only had one Ford race winner up until that point that had crossed the line at first. Towards the end of the year, it got a little bit skewed back in Ford's favour, but the whole year, parity was a problem. Not only that, there were the engine fires that plagued some of the races at the start of the season. There was multiple dramas throughout the seasons and inconsistencies.
What the fuck is wrong with this Ford? Did Joe get a category, mate? Joe. I wonder why all their fucking drivers want to leave them.
Not to mention, we also lost the GOAT Jack Smith, which is a huge disservice to the Supercars and its fans. I know a lot of us loved him, he will be forever in our hearts. But let's get serious for a second. Gen 3 was genuinely exciting. Now, firstly, the best things. Mark Winterbottom back on the top step, with Team 18 getting their well-deserved win. And not only that, we had Jack LeBrock as well, proving that his win in 2020 wasn't a fluke, that he had the genuine talent. These guys have deserved these wins. It's been such a long time coming. Gen 3 also provided Matt Payne, a rookie, in his rookie season, yet another rookie, to win a race at Adelaide. Finally, once the parity was solved, we had so many competitive drivers, so much good racing, and Payne getting a great win at Adelaide was just the perfect way to cap off the season. Now, I won't lie once again and say that parity wasn't an issue and there weren't issues throughout the whole season. But when have we had a title fight so close? We had 4 drivers that were in it, all the way up until about the Bend, Bathurst, Sandown. It was crazy. It's been a while since we've had a genuinely contentious championship battle, and not only that, a championship battle with on-track action like this between 4 drivers. We had both Red Bull drivers, both Coca-Cola drivers, and even for some points of the season, you could still consider Mossert a championship contending driver. He wasn't that far off the top 4 despite being in the worst car in the series. Now, the racing quality was so good. I think, obviously, the previous generations of cars, they were a little bit mid. They were a little bit shit sometimes. They didn't provide the best racing at all times, and not saying these cars have produced the best racing ever, but for their first season, for a debut season for a car like this, damn, the racing was exciting. I was happy to see drivers like Brody and Shane going hard, charging at each other. There was genuine, an ability to race with these cars. A lot of the times in previous seasons, cars would sort of form a line and be unable to get back in attack without having a significant tyre or pace advantage. And more often than not, it was just about track position and how you could keep it or how you could gain it. These cars, you could genuinely just stick behind and gap and close that gap, and you'd be able to pass still. You'd be able to get side by side and have a good race. It was also refreshing to see drivers be able to put one back on Shane Van Gisbergen. Throughout the past few years, has been rather untouched, being able to drive off into the distance once he gets past without any problems. But this year, with Gen 3, Shane Van Gisbergen wasn't able to just drive off into the distance. He had to fight for these positions, and drivers like Brody Kostecki did not make it easy for him. That's another great thing. There was genuinely good levels of competition, genuinely high caliber drivers. It was just exciting to watch, right? And this wasn't just on traditional circuits, This was on some tracks that typically I would call snoozers in the Supercars Championship. Even at Gold Coast, we got 2 great fights to the flag. Now, of course, one of them ended with a quite questionable corner cut, but they were both genuinely exciting down to the wire battles that built up for quite some time, and it really could have gone either car's way both times. Once again, this was made all the much better once parity was relatively solved, because we could have fights with all cars across the grid at that point. Whereas earlier it was just relegated to mostly Holdens and occasionally a Ford Mustang popping in. Now, it's not perfect. There's work that needs to be done, and these cars could be made better. They could be made to race better, and over time, I believe that they will work on those strengths and work on ironing out the perfect racing performance. However, this is already more exciting than previous years that we've had. And I know it might be controversial to say that because Gen 3 had its issues, but this racing was just so damn good. Now, before I continue rambling and looping on about the same point, let's move on to the next great thing. More eyes are on Supercars right now than there have been for almost a decade. It's no secret that Supercars has been struggling over the past few decades to get that viewership that it once had in the 90s and the early 2000s. But over the past year, there have been more eyes on the product than ever. Obviously, Supercars' close relation with Formula 1 in Australia is a big sort of help for that, and there have been more people internationally that have been wanting to have Supercars. There was obviously the contentious Singapore Grand Prix issue, but as well as that, there's multiple countries in the Middle East and Asia that want to have Supercars, whether it be by themselves or with F1. Not only that, there's more Americans watching the sport than ever, there's more Europeans, there's more people around the world watching the sport than ever before. That can largely be helped by the NASCAR Chicago Street Race, in which Shane Van Gisbergen absolutely took it, absolutely stole the show. The inaugural Cup race there was won by Shane Van Gisbergen on his Cup debut, the first time it had been done since fucking the 60s. It's been a while and he absolutely killed it. He put on display why he is one of the best drivers in the world and why Supercars drivers are just another level above many other categories in the world. Because he reckons, not just him, but there could have been multiple other drivers that did exactly what he did and won that race. Now, it obviously helps that Supercars does race street circuits like this, but a lot of our drivers are of such a high caliber that they could step in this place and do well. Not only that, we have Brody Kostecki going to NASCAR this year. We potentially have Cam Waters going to NASCAR this year. We have the chance to show off our talent on the world platform, on the absolute stage for everyone to see just how good Supercars drivers are. And it's not just that either. Supercars has been trending more. There are more YouTube videos, more video essays about Supercars. There are more tweets, there's more interactions, more social media about Supercars than there has been for quite some time. This might be a little bit of copium, but it's really put us a little bit more on the map with people who didn't know what Supercars was. When you light the NASCAR world on fire and get F1 drivers, IndyCar drivers, internationally renowned drivers following and supporting you, it's big. And it's led to him getting an absolutely great opportunity in America next year, doing the Cup Series and doing Xfinity. He's gonna kill it. And not to mention Brody Kostecki, our first Australian champion for quite some time, with a lot to prove in Supercars. And he's gonna do it. He's gonna prove why he belongs here. He's gonna absolutely showcase what he has on offer. Now, 2024 will be a big year. He'll have more competition because Ford will be in it from the start, but I absolutely believe Erebus and Brody can absolutely do it. Maybe it's a little bit of copium, but this year will just be one to watch off of the back of how good the racing was last year. Do you agree with me? I understand a lot of you may not agree with me, especially if you are a Ford fan, and that's perfectly fine. But I genuinely think 2023 showed what Supercars can do at its best and what 2024 will look like once parity is solved. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button, comment your thoughts below, and hit that subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye. Just going to talk off the cuff for a second. I did record this video at the end of last season and took a little bit to put it out because I couldn't get the right music and I was dawdling on the thumbnail. But yeah, the Brody Kostecki news kind of puts a damper on the video, eh? I still think 2024 is going to be good. I still think 2023 was good, but yeah, there's a certain level of disappointment looking back at the video now. And there's a certain level of disappointment looking towards the future. I hope that this season's good, but yeah, it's going to be something else without Brody, isn't it? It's going to be something else without the defending champion, without Shane Van Gisbergen. That is 2 pillars of competition absolutely removed. I'm still hopeful. Still got that copium in me. Let's go!